And welcome back to the video on the rest of the and to another edition of NXT 2.0 out of 10. And it's a big show today. We're getting closer and closer to the next big NXT event. So yeah, lots going on. We've got the Braun Breaker Joe Gacy feud continuing, as well as much more. And we kicked off this week with Tony D'Angelo, who was backstage with Stacks and Two Dimes as NXT kicked off, and said that he wanted Santos Escobar and Legado to watch his goons do in the opening match, since Legado will soon be on the receiving end. And they were facing Jesus Inoue and Malik Blade. Stacks and Inoue kicked off the match, and the Goons had the early advantage, but Inoue and Blade managed to tag Stacks in the corner. D'Angelo ran a distraction and let his Goons back in control of the match. As the match continued, we saw Legado leave backstage and head out to ringside. D'Angelo's Goon Bass hit double strikes and double super kicks on Inoue for the win. After the match, Legado, Dale Phantasma ran down the entrance ramp, and the two traders headed for a brawl. Referee had to be dispatched to break them up as we headed for a break. And yeah, gets 6 out of 10 for me. Not a bad start to NXT, and yeah, definitely not against them continuing this feud. Before we got Wesley versus Sanga. Sanga was tossing the former tag team champ around the ring, stomping on his chest on the apron. Lehman tried to go after Sanga's leg, but was taken down once more before the big guy caught him in a bear hug. Lehman managed to send Sanga outside and hit a double stomp over the ropes to the outside before sending him into the steel stairs. Sanga got back in control of the match as he headed back to the ring and wiped Lee out with a massive clothesline before getting a rock bottom finisher for the win. After the match, Quinn was headed to the ring with Lee still in the corner. Quinn was possibly going to attack Lee, but Sanga came back and tossed him out of the ring before helping Lee get back on his feet. And yeah, it's kind of an intriguing end, but it still gets a 5 out of 10 for me. I'm losing hope for this Wesley arc. Before we got Braun Breaker, who was backstage and found out that the hooded dudes were that hangout with Joe Gacy had been in his locker room. He stormed in and only found a picture that he was mentioned from 20 years ago. Before we got Elektra Lopez versus Alba Fire. Lopez started off strong, but Fire was on the outside early on. Back in the ring, Fire got in control and got some big strikes in before Lopez took her down. Alba then took some big shots to her previously injured arm before managing to get a subtle roll up off the near fall. Fire headed to top rope and hit her finisher for the victory. Cora Jade was watching from the front row, and Lopez walked out to her after the match and slapped the tub of popcorn off her hands before walking off. But yeah, it gets a 6 out of 10 for me. Decent enough match, quick but decent enough. And yeah, liking them building up Lopez in her new Fire in her new character. We then learned that Roderick Strong rolled his ankle during training, and his match tonight was pretty deadly was off before Fallon Henry was backstage with Briggs and Jensen, and we were told that Lyons had an injury as well as during training. Tiffany Stratton came in and got Henley's face, and she got fired back before NXT moved on to Roxanne Perez versus Lash Legend in the semi-final. Legend had the early advantage, but rushed a small superstar, but Perez managed to take her down and unload on the mat and lift her into the corner. Lash Legend tried to lift Perez, but the latter locked in a sleeper hold and then tried for a leg sweep, but Legend kicked her feet over and under. She hit a big drop kick, but was setting up a powerbomb, but took the pot rocks off the counter before Perez got the win. And yeah, Perez going through is the right decision for me. Decent enough match. Gets a 6 out of 10. Perez has got to go on and win the whole thing for me. Toxic Attraction were talking trash backstage about Andy Hartwell when Katana Chance and Caden Carter attacked them before we got Hartwell versus Rose. Hartwell started off strong, but the champion managed to take her down for a near fall. Rose drove Hartwell into the corner before taking a sidewalk slam before Rose rolled out of the ring to regroup as we headed for a break. Back on NXT, Hartwell cancelled a big move and got a near fall before Carter and Chance showed up, still brawling with the rest of Toxic Attraction. The teams headed to the ring, and the Chaos allowed Rose to hit the knee strike on Indy for the victory. After the match, Wendy Chu took down Rose, who was trying to run backstage. Chu then took down Rose with a pillowcase full of random balls before posing with the title. And Jake gets 7 out of 10 from me. Decent enough match. Great to see 2 major NXT women's players going like that, and an entertaining end. Before Pretty Deadly were backstage on NXT and made fun of Roderick Strong for making excuses before we got Henley versus Stratton in the other semi-final. The ladies traded shots off the bat before Henley dropped Stratton. Stratton came back with a hip attack and a diving senton before getting near fall. She followed up with a double stomp before getting yet another near fall. Henley was then caught in the hole but got out of it before dropping Stratton once more with a clothesline. She got some big strikes in, but missed the finisher when his knee came out. Stratton came back with her double knee finisher in the corner and picked up the win. And yeah, gets a 6 out of 10 for me. It's probably the worst match of the 2 semi-finals, but still not bad, and for me the right winner. Wendy Chu then ran into Katana Chance and Caden Carter backstage and made a challenge to Toxic Attraction for the women's tag team titles before we got Von Wagner versus Sigman Jiro. Jiro flew into the ring and attacked Von Wagner, but was taken down right away with a slam before Wagner sent him into the corner and hit some some big lariats. Jiro took a near fall before kicking Wagner in the leg, but was dropped on the top turnbuckle. Wagner then locked in a hold, but Jiro broke out and got a big sequence of moves, including a springboard dropkick, before sending Wagner outside for a dropkick and a moonsault. Wagner then put Jiro's jacket over his head to cover up his vision and beat him up before hitting the modified angle slam. After the match, Wagner was about to hit Jiro with an unfinisher, but Briggs came down to make a save and sent Wagner out before he retreated. And yeah, it gets a 6 out of 10 for me. I'm liking the new Von Wagner character. He's really getting over at the moment. And yeah, interruption at the end, that could set up an interesting feud as well. So yeah, good stuff. D'Angelo was backstage and asked for another sit down with Legado to sort out matters. Backstage, Stone was concerned that the whole locker room would be soon after Wagner, but Sophia Cromwell was the best way to get noticed on NXT. Rose and Toxic Attraction were backstage, made fun of Chu, Katana Chance and Caden Carter. They called the Oompa Loompas before indirectly accepting their challenge. Before Grimes showed up at the Kamale Hayes barbershop and they discussed who deserved the North American title. Grimes said he will prove he was better by beating Nathan Fraser, who the champion said was better than Hayes. We also promos for Giovanni Vinci, who is set to debut soon, as well as Taya Hayo, who will show up next week. So yeah, whole host of backstage promos before Braun Breaker versus Duke Hudson was our main event. Breaker had the early Frankensteiner as we saw Gacy and hooded figures show up on the balcony to watch the match. Duke Hudson got in control and Breaker took him down with a vertical seatbacks. Hudson then hit a clothesline and a big throw before both men took each other out with lariats. Back on NXT after the break, we saw Gacy and his buddies were now at ringside. The match ended up with outside and Breaker attacked the hooded figures as they closed in on him. Hudson then got a steel chair, but Breaker took it from him and used it to take out the hooded guys before hitting Hudson with it, earning a disqualification in the process. And yeah, it's kind of the inevitable finish, wasn't it? I mean, like, it gets 7 out of 10 because it develops a storyline. It's 1 week later to it being over, and the match up to that point was decent. But yeah, it's kind of predictable and inevitable, really. Overall, NXT this week gets a 6 out of 10 from me. Yeah, to be honest, I didn't think it was a bad episode of NXT this week at all, really. Just kind of following the usual pattern, lots of short little matches. But on the most part, it was decent, and some storyline developments as well, with the big event only a few weeks away. So yeah, not a bad episode of TV at all, really. But anyway, guys, that's the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and thoughts, comments down below. Find us on Instagram for daily wrestling news and subscribe to my channel on screen. That would be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.